We're now going to create a chart. So the chart that we're going to create is we need to recognize what our x axis is going to be and what our y-axis is going to be. So this is kind of why this table looks differently than the one that was in your lab packet. We want the x value listed first, so we wanted volume on the x-axis, so that's this column. And we want mass on the y-axis, so that's why it's this column. So we need to select the data that we want graphed. I'm going to include sample 0 this time because I want to recognize that when there was zero mass of metal, there was 0 water displacement. So let's go ahead and highlight all the cells we want to graph. You're going to hit Insert, Chart, and Google Sheets actually gives you some suggestions on what you want your chart to look like. And I want you to choose the scattered plot. So it's down here. And that's going to show me my data right now. So I'm going to hit Insert. Okay, and now this chart is kind of small, so I want to make it part of its own tab at the bottom. So I'm going to click on here, and we're going to put Move to Own Sheet. Now my chart's much, much bigger, and it will make it easier to see what's going on. So we want to make it look like the sample, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, our graph is pretty plain right now, so let's add some features to it. So we're going to go to Advanced Edit, and I'm going to Customization. So let's type in our title, Density of Unknown Metal. All right, we've got a legend in there. Let's go down here. And now let's label our axis. So it says axis horizontal, that's our x-axis. That was our volume in cubic centimeters. So now you see that label shows up here at the bottom. Okay, we need to change the grid lines so that it matched what I had on the sample. So let's see, no. So what I wanted is the grid line, so I'm choosing major 6, and it shows a mark at every 2 cubic centimeters along the x-axis. Let's put it in a minor one. I can't remember if I want it. Yeah. So I'm going to just put a minor division at 1. So now I've got a mark at every 1. Okay, so that takes care of our x-axis. Okay, now we need to go to the y-axis. So you do the drop down here, axis, left vertical. We're going to title this mass in grams. And I have the marks every 20 there, and that's just like was on my sample graph. But let's go ahead and put smaller marks in there. No, let's not do that many. All right, so this gives me some marks, and they occur at every 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that's not what I want. Let's do 4. All right. So now my marks occur at every 5 grams on the x-axis, or sorry, the y-axis. Okay, we're almost done. Now we want to go ahead and add our equation. Let's come all the way to the bottom. You see where it says trend line? We're going to add a linear trend line. And that goes and lines up through all of our data points. So now let's just, so that's the trend line for data series 1. I'm going to do the following. Where it says label, we're going to use equation. So this is the equation that describes that line that we just generated. I'm also going to click where it says show R squared, because R squared lets us know how well our linear correlation is. The closer your value is to 1, the better your correlation is. All right, let's change some things now. Graph, sorry, I had a red line. Okay, and then I changed the line thickness to be 4. Okay, so now that line is going through all of my circles there. We need to go back and up here, and we're going to adjust the data points, right? So for our point shape here on the data points, we have circle, and I want to change that to diamond. And let's go ahead and change this to red as well. Now I've got my chart finished. I'm going to hit update. Let's take a look at it. This looks just like the one I generated. And it only took us about 6 minutes to do that. So in future, you'll be able to quickly create data tables. You'll be able to create a linear regression or a trend line. You'll be able to adjust the markings on the X and Y axis. You'll be able to do all of this, okay, in your spreadsheets, and then you'll be able to share that with me rather than trying to do this by hand, because this takes a lot less time and looks a lot nicer, especially once you have some practice. One more thing before we're done here. Let's go ahead and relabel those sheets. So I'm going to click where it says sheet 1, and I'm going to rename this, and I'm going to put data. And then I'm going to rename chart 1 as graph. So once again, if you want to do that, you can use the drop down arrow, or you can use the right click button or the double click on a Chromebook. Rename, change the data, change the graph. We're all done. Good luck, guys. You can get this figured out. I know it. I believe in you.